President Trump has made it official. The United States is dumping out of the Iran nuclear deal. He said the accord only made it easier for Iran to make a nuclear weapon. CBN White House correspondent Ben Kennedy reports.
I am announcing today that the United States will withdraw from the Iran nuclear deal.
An announcement that made headlines worldwide. President Trump reinstating sanctions on Iran and even imposing secondary sanctions on nations that engage with Iran.
Any nation that helps Iran in its quest for nuclear weapons could also be strongly sanctioned by the United States.
The accord was designed to freeze Iran's nuclear program in exchange for an end to economic sanctions on Tehran. But Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu accused the Iranians of secretly developing nuclear weapons.
The deal didn't push war further away. It actually brought it closer. The deal didn't reduce Iran's aggression. It dramatically increased it.
Netanyahu called Trump's move to back out of the deal historic. President Obama, on the other hand, says it's a serious mistake. Some feel that by getting rid of the deal, Iran can start its nuclear production at a higher level. Iran's president warned Tuesday that his country may resume enriching uranium if European leaders failed to preserve Iran's benefits from the 2015 accord.
They may not, just because they're also appealing for European support, and certainly I don't think they would start a nuclear weapons program soon. But it's risky getting rid of the entire deal.
We are now respected. We are feared, and quite frankly, a lot of folks love us across this globe as well because of actions just like this. He's calling out bad actors for what they are, being bad actors, and he's standing against evil.
Now, this move to back out of the deal faces opposition from European allies and could potentially deepen the president's isolation on the world stage. France's President Emmanuel Macron tweeted that France, Britain, and Germany regret the U.S. decision. Ben Kennedy, CBN News, Washington.
Some leaders on Capitol Hill acted like we're now on the verge of an apocalypse. Iranian lawmakers chanted death to America and even burned a U.S. flag on the floor of their parliament. Well, joining us with more from Jerusalem is CBN News Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell. Chris, what's the reaction in Israel?
Well, the reaction, as you may imagine, is elation from Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, from many of the members of the Knesset, from the ruling party. If there's one element, one issue that unites politicians throughout the political spectrum of Israel, I think it is the Iran nuclear deal, and the fact that they see a future possible nuclear Iran as a mortal danger. So I think Israelis, leaders here are exceptionally excited about this. And this brings, as many people think, the United States and Israel even closer.
Chris, does this now make the possibility of war between Israel and Iran more or less likely?
Well, you could look at it a couple of ways, Gary. First of all, they basically are at war. It's a low-grade war right now. Israel reportedly has been striking Iranian targets inside Syria as several times in the last few weeks. There's talk of war almost daily here in Israeli newspapers. So what's happened is that Iran, as it tries to fill the vacuum inside Syria and establish military bases inside that country, they are facing a determined Israel to prevent that from happening. They don't want Iranian military bases on its northern border. And so that's why you hear these reports of Israeli planes striking surface-to-surface Iranian missiles inside Syria. Whether this explodes into a Middle East conflagration and a direct war between Iran and Israel remains to be seen. But I would add, Gary, that I think that here in the Middle East, and you know this so much, that they respect strength. And when President Trump has nixed this deal and imposed the highest possible sanctions on Iran, that speaks volumes, not only to Israel and the United States enemies, but their friends as well, like Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and Jordan.
Yeah, the old saying is peace through strength, isn't it, Chris? Some critics of Trump's actions say he based his decision on old evidence of Iranian nuclear development, nothing new since the deal was reached in 2015. Now, I know you attended a briefing, Netanyahu's presentation of evidence, so what do you think of that?
Well, I think what they did is they discovered files from Project Ahmad, which was Iran's nuclear program to design, build, and test a nuclear device. It came from 2003. But what they made certain in the presentation, made clear in the presentation, that it was Iranian information that was meant, that should have been divulged as part of the Iranian nuclear deal. It wasn't. It was hidden and stored away. And so anytime when these nuclear deal provisions expire, 10, 15, 25 years, Iran has the know-how to build a nuclear device.
So, Chris, really, it wasn't that there was any new information about a new violation of the agreement, but it was basically demonstrating, hey, you can't trust these guys. They hid this. What else are they hiding? And once this is lifted, they'll move forward quickly. Is that correct?
Exactly. And what Netanyahu has made clear, not only in that briefing, but other times as well, the deal is so bad that if Iran kept the deal, sometimes that was their worst fear, because what they did is they restricted their enrichment of uranium to a certain degree, to about 20%. But the deal allows them to continue research and development for sophisticated centrifuges. So when these calendar things change, 10, 15, 20 years, then Iran will have ability to enrich uranium at a prodigious amount. They'll have the information to weaponize that. They'll have the ballistic missile technology. So that was Netanyahu's point. Even if they keep the deal, it's so bad that it would almost allow Iran to have a nuclear, not just one device, but literally a nuclear arsenal.
It really did nothing to eliminate the program. It just contained them and kicked the can down the road. So how did other Middle East leaders react to the announcement, Chris?
Well, you see Saudi Arabia and the Gulf states applauding the move by President Trump. And this is what's happened in this unusual coalition of forces against Iran.
And some Iranian Kurds I know in the Middle East tweeted to me and sent messages to me applauding Trump's decision. They were very pleased about it. So what message, Chris, does it send to Iran on its ambitions to establish a military foothold against Israel and Syria?
Oh, a huge message. And as we said, I think when you have strength, it's respected in the Middle East. When you keep your word, it's respected here in the Middle East as well. So I think it sends a message to Iran that the United States is going to stand behind Israel as it determines to not allow Iran to establish these military bases inside Syria. And certainly a time to be praying for the peace of Jerusalem, to be praying for Israel, and be praying for all the peoples in this region, that the gospel could go forth in it, in Jesus' name.